go tell Phil that we just traded him to the Rangers. So Grapes gets Bobby Orr and Wayne Cashman, Phil's two best friends, to go tell him. He knocks on the door. So they walk in, and Phil's like, "You better not f***ing be telling me I'm going to the Rangers because I'm going to friggin' jump out that window." He says, "Bobby, get in front of the window."
What was Boston like as a sports town in '79 when you got here?
Amazing. The old Garden was just a phenomenal building. The upper deck was like almost right on top of the ice. So that national anthem, sometimes you'd feel the vibration in the building.
Yeah.
That's how loud that building would be. And it was a small ice surface. So teams hated coming in there.
What's that mean?
What's ice surface smaller? Because most rinks are 200 by 85. That was like maybe 190 by 80. So there's different size rinks back then.
That's crazy.
Every rink now is the same size. But back then you had Chicago Stadium, Boston Garden, Buffalo Auditorium was maybe a touch smaller as well.
And you felt it.
Oh, you felt it. You felt playing against the Bruins because it
was quicker. Was it faster?
Oh, things happen so quick, but you'd get killed. Like you had a lot less time to react to stuff, and we were a big, heavy, tough team, and teams weren't that excited about coming to the Garden and play us. But when you're talking about sports town, it's like, I mean, the passion of the fans supporting all their teams here is just second to none. You're so lucky. It's when I hear that, he's not meant to play in Boston. Are you friggin' kidding me? Why would you not want to play somewhere where expectations are high and if the fans are passionate, and you know that if you just go out there, work hard, give an honest effort and play hard, they don't have a problem with you.
No.
It's when you don't do that, you have a problem. And you know what? If they have a problem with you, I probably do too.
Yeah. That's the honest truth. Now, like, how was it playing in the wake of like Bobby Orr? Did you feel that legend? Because being a guy that played on a second part of a dynasty, I mean, we felt the Teddy Brusquis, the Kevin Falks, the fucking Vinatieri's, we heard about it all the time.
The Veritex.
The Veritex, which for me as a young player, that motivated me to I wanted to make my own I'm sick of Bill Belichick talking about these fucking other guys. Let's make our own shit. How was it playing in that wake? I mean, one of the greatest player of all time, some people argue.
But that
motivated me.
Exactly. But that makes you, because you know what's come before you. And it's important for you to move that ahead and pass that on to the young guy, the young Julian that's coming up, that is watching you and how you do things, how you prepare, how you play, how you speak, how you act. And you feel that when you come into a team that has history and expectations. And for me, when I came in, of course I knew Bobby Orr. And I think Bobby Orr is number one all time in the history of hockey. He changed the game, and nobody played it like he did. And
now, what made him special?
Everything. I mean, you watch highlights of Bobby Orr?
Yeah, a little bit here and there.
Well, it seems like he was.
But the inner talk.
He was playing with 10-year-olds.
Yeah.
That's how good he was. But so for me, I came in my first year, I scored 17 goals, 65 points. I won Rookie of the Year, first team All-Star. I had an amazing year. So when people would come up, and I was, offensive, I was gifted offensively, nothing like Bobby, but, the press would constantly coming up and comparing me to Bobby Orr. And I'm like, I always said, believe me, if I could be half the player that Bobby Orr was, I'm going to have an amazing career. And that's how I looked at it, how I diffused it, because I knew I'm not Bobby Orr. I play my game. I'm not as explosive and dynamic as Bobby was. I mean, he was just so spectacular and so much fun to watch. I was more my subtleties in my game were a lot different. Wasn't like I wouldn't raise you out of your seat by watching me play, but if you watch the subtleties and how I played my game, how consistent I was, you'd really appreciate how I played the game. And I knew that, I knew my game. I knew how I had to play.
I think your career ended okay. I mean,
yeah, it was okay. Yeah,
legend.
22, but
Sounds better though.
But it was, yeah, it just, I mean, for me playing in Boston, I'm so happy I ended up here because, like we talk about the passion and the city and the suburbs and everything that comes living here. I mean, I knew. Didn't take me very long that I'm like, whoa. Once I had kids, I knew regardless, this was going to be my home.
Yeah,
and fans were amazing.
Now, did you ever cross paths with Larry Bird? You guys were in the
great question because I've got to know McHale, a few Reggie Lewis I've met, I've kind of run into, and a few other Celtics. Larry Bird, we came in the same year in 1979. We both won Rookie of the Year. I did not meet Larry Bird till after he retired. Dale Arnold had us on WEI for 1 hour together. It was the first time I met Larry Bird, and it was great, but it was so weird that we didn't cross paths before that. And now I winter in South Florida. I play hideout once in a while. Every time I'm there, I see him.
Yeah.
He's one of the founders of that place. So yeah, it was, and I got this great picture that day. Larry and I, they gave me a 77 Celtics jersey, and they gave him a 33 Bruins jersey with our names on it and all that. I looked like I'm 12 years old, and I'm like 33 at the time, I think 34 years old. And he's got, probably 9 inches on me.
Those boys are tall. They're trees, aren't they? Those basketball guys.
They are.
And you don't understand it because when you watch them on TV, they're all the same height and shit. And then you see them in regular life, you're like, that's a fucking dinosaur. Holy shnikes. No, but it's understandable because you guys are in the grind of your careers. Like, I would always see Bruins. I became close with a couple Bruins through charity events.
Yeah.
Or, I would see Celtics out here and there. But, you didn't always see certain guys because everyone's caught up in their career, especially you guys. You guys are playing at the same time. So,
yeah, McHale, I got to know, he would invite me to his Christmas party.
Mm-hmm.
Don Warden was our physical therapist. I was really good friends with Kevin. And from that relationship, like Kevin would come to our game and he'd stand right by our bench where the Celtics would enter and come out to the floor and off and on. So he'd watch the game right there, right by our bench. And then he'd come in the room after the game. So he grew up in Minnesota. He knew what hockey was all about. Not like you from California.
I grew to like it.
You went to the second half of a Sharks game one
before
time.
I was telling
Cow Palace was awesome.
I went to the Cow Palace. I was telling Ray, my hockey.
Smell the elephants. Or,
we thought we were going to catch the second half. Being football people, we missed the first 2 periods, and me and my dad after the third are like, yeah, at least we got the fourth. There's no fucking fourth. Learned that short, quick.
The hard way.
No overtime back then either.
Now, can you explain to us, how'd you go from 7 to 77?
So out of anything I've ever done in Boston, people will come up to me and talk to me about that. Like out of anything I've ever done in hockey, that's the number one thing that comes up most. And so I wore number 29 in training camp. Had a great camp coming up for my first game. Number 7 is in my stall. And I'm like, I knew that Phil wore that number. So before I go out, Bobby Schmatz, a veteran, comes over. He says, Ray, if you hear any hecklers, don't worry about it. Just play your game. And I'm like, yeah, great, right? So I have an amazing first year. Never hear nothing about it other than the press asking me every once in a while, what do you think about Phil Esposito's number being retired? I'm like, he's a legend, an amazing Bruin. He's done great things here, won 2 cups and everything. I said, of course. I said, I was given that number. I'm like, it's not up to me. And so what happened is the Bruins traded Phil Esposito, And once that happened, Phil and Harry Phil was really pissed at the Bruins, never wanted to go. The story goes when they traded Phil Esposito that Don Cherry was the coach back then, Grapes. So Harry tells Grapes, says, go tell Phil that we just traded him to the Rangers. So Grapes gets Bobby Orr and Wayne Cashman, Phil's two best friends, to go tell him. Knocks on the door. They're staying at the Bay Shore in Vancouver. It's right on the water. Beautiful place, Vancouver. So they walk in, and Phil's like, you better not fucking be telling me I'm going to the Rangers because I'm going to friggin' jump out that window. He says, Bobby, get in front of the window. So after that, it was like, so Harry was like pissed at Phil for being pissed at him. And I get the number, and now I'm killing it and doing great. And so then they kind of patch things up, and they decide that they're going to retire the number December 3rd, 1987. So I've worn it now since 79.
8 years.
Right? And, but nothing is talked about anything up until 1 o'clock that afternoon. Terry O'Reilly's our coach, calls me from Harry's office, and he says, Ray, what do you think we should do with the jersey? That's how great the communication was back then, right?
Sounds like Belichick's system.
Yeah, well, yeah, dinosaurs you're talking? I'm like, geez, this is crazy. I said, so we come up with, I'm going to go up for warm-up with number 7, come back in, go in the back room, in the trainer's room, put number 77 under 7, go back out, call Phil up, and then I'll take the 7 off, reveal 77. And it was so messed up how it was, but it ended up being the best.
Yeah.
Because no press, no fans. I drove in with Keith Crowder and Glenn Wesley that day. They said, Ray, what the hell? You could have told us. Nobody knew other than my wife, coaches, management, and ended up going. I see Phil's face is like, you know, I joke about this, but it's really true that it was the first time Phil Esposito was ever speechless in his life. And it's like, his face dropped. I was like, wow, it was the perfect thing. Nobody should have worn that number after Phil when he left. There was no doubt that number was going to be retired, and it's up where it should be.
You know, stand-up guys, it really is noticeable with the hockey guys. You guys, I feel like your guys' respect to your teammates and to tradition and to the guys before you, I mean, it's in your trophy. You know what I mean? Look, you see everyone who's put the blood, sweat, and tears into getting this trophy. It's just really cool to see because you don't see that in all sports. I'll tell you that right now.
How about this trophy, though?
This trophy's pretty badass.
It's the best. And your name gets on it. It's there for over 60 years.
60 years.
Over 60 years. Before this gets, when this is full, this comes off. And they straighten it out. They put it in the vault in the Hall of Fame. So before this gets up here, it's over 60 years. So your name, my grandkids' kids could go to the Hall of Fame someday and look up, you know, that this was my grandfather. And so it's an amazing trophy.
It is. It definitely has an aura. And I think, you know, it's going to be a hot take, but this probably is the best trophy because the imperfections and...
Oh, my God, if that thing could talk.